Hey guys, it's Vernie here with another Vault. First week of Season 3 has concluded, and we've got a couple characters to go through, so we're going to obviously be back to the Vault series after taking a little bit of an extended break in Season 2, where I was kind of bored and wasn't really doing anything, so there wasn't really Vaults to do. But now, we're back at it. So as you can see, we've got 6 characters. I'm trying to mess around with most of the healers in some capacity. I am maining Holy Paladin now for the guild, so I will be healing. And so I'd like to get more comfortable with some of these healers. And so we did 1 key on the Mistweaver. I think we did 3 on the Druid and the Shaman. We should have done 4 for a second option, but I was kind of lazy, and I left it to the last minute, so we only ended up doing 1. The Evoker I did 4 on, and then the Priest we did normal rate and 8 keys, and then the Paladin we did normal and 7 of 9 heroic with, like, I don't know, 20 keys or so. So let's go ahead and get into this. We will start with the Mistweaver. Mistweaver, we just got 1 shitty box just to say, hey, we did it. Eventually, I will flesh out these characters a little more, hopefully get some more practice in. I think the goal this week is to get at least 2 of the characters through raid again, and then probably 18s on at least 3, if not 4 of them. Because 18s seem pretty doable, especially 18s like Atal, which are not very hard. Atal Dazar definitely the easiest key this season. But, I'll just see what we get. And we're probably going to be in heal spec for most of these. Maybe not the Shaman. The Shaman I might leave as enhanced, but this is going to be a 2, so I think it's like a 450 piece. A 454 tier chest. Okay. That's really funny that I did 1 fucking key and I got a tier chest on the character I'm probably not going to play. I mean, obviously we're going to take it. It's 17 item levels better than the other one and doesn't break a tier set, so we are good with that. What does that even look like? What does the monk set look like this tier? Well, that's kind of a goofy, like, Chi-Chi set. It's not bad. That's okay looking. It's kind of an interesting chest. Okay, well, that's a good first start. It did ruin my Mog a little bit, though. I have to change my Mog again. Obviously, the no monk is meme transmogs only, so he looks stupid as hell. Alright, next thing we've got the Druid, which again, I did 3 keys on. They were like 7s and 8s mostly. Or no, it was like a 2 and then a 5 and then an 8, and then I just stopped. I probably should have done another one, like his 11 or a 12 or something, just to get him a higher piece, but I left it until Monday night, so you know how that goes. He's lucky he even got one done. Resto Druid is looking okay in keys. I'm not a huge fan of the playstyle, but I know they did just get their damage buffed a week ago, so in terms of damage, they're looking pretty good. Now, I think we want to stay healing for the Black Rook Hold Trinket. I believe it's pretty good for Resto, and it's not available for balance. So I would hate to get some of the other crappy healing trinkets, but if we can't get, you know, the BIS one for as balance, we'll have to stay Resto. Yeah, okay. So we're just going to stay Resto, and we pray that we don't get a shitty one. It's only going to be 1 box. Yeah, Crit Mastery Gloves. Sure. You know, 30 item levels? Great, whatever. Something we can catalyze later. And the thing with tier this season, I think it's going to be easier to get than normal. We already started off with a Catalyst charge, so we have 1 Catalyst charge right now. You get 1 Omni token for doing KSM or AOTC, which we'll have this week on at least 2 characters, so 2 of them can get 2 piece. As of now, we have, I think my Priest has a Curio from normal. My Paladin didn't get anything in normal, so we're kind of just sitting. I think, like, the Omni tokens and stuff, we'll wait to spend until after Heroic Raid this week to see if we can finish up an ideal 4-piece.
May I have a word with you?
But that's a conversation for later. Looking at the Evoker, we did an 18, so we are going to get a max Myth Track item. And I think I'm going to stay Devastation because most of the healing trinkets are pretty bad. I'd rather get a DPS trinket. So we will be getting a 480 Myth Track item, and we just pray for it. It's a 480 Helm. Crit verse. I mean, the stats aren't ideal, but again, this is Catalyst fodder. This is exactly something they want to catalyze. And I think it goes up to 489, which is the max level, so pretty happy with that. We can do some Aspect Crest keys this week and fill that out. So cool. First piece. Obviously, like, all of these are going to be upgrades outside of, like, really badly statted rings or necks or something, so we're happy with that. And next we've got the Shaman. The Shaman, I did, like, again, 3 keys in, like, the 8 to 10 range, so we're going to have, like, a 10, which I think is a 463 piece. I might be wrong there. I'm not super sure on the item levels yet. Enhanced still cranks and keys. It's pretty good. It's still squishy, but I think overall it's got pretty good cleave for dungeons. And I definitely don't want healing trinkets, so we are going to stay enhanced, and if we get a weapon, then that's that. Whatever. Plate belt. Or, sorry, mail belt. Crit verse. I think I already have this one. I do. Well, it's still 470 on the hero track. This is something we will be using, because eventually we trade away these embellishments for something else. So, I'm fine with this. It's going to be really hard to find a dud. Although we have before. I think last season, the first week, on my main, I took a socket. It was a very unfortunate turn of events. And now we've got the priest, so we did a full normal clear, so we'll have 3 normal raid boxes. And then we did like 8 to 10 keys. I was kind of just like learning disc. I'd never played disc before, so most of them were in like the 10 to 14 range. So we do have, it's going to be 2 hero track loot options, which are okay. And then from normal raid, we got this Blossom of Amirdrasil trinket, and we got a Curio. So the Curio we're kind of just sitting on to see like what we can fill out. As a healer, the set bonuses are like less impactful for me. Obviously, I want to get them, but I'll have them in, 3 or 4 weeks' time anyway. And this guy is, what, halfway to KSM? So I might get KSM on this character this week if I put in some more time. But 3 raid options, 3 dungeon options. Let's go. We're going to go with Shadow. Well, yeah, we're going to go with Shadow. Very interesting. Okay, so from Raid we have Mastery Haste Gloves, which are pretty bad for healing, but good for Shadow. We have the Pips Friendship Badge, which is a really good trinket. I know a lot of people want this, but it's only normal. It's got to be better than my Vessel, though. And then we have a Haste Mastery Belt, which is kind of the same thing. Like, it's an upgrade over my current one, but stats aren't ideal for healing. The dungeon slots, 473 crit haste belt, which is pretty good. Ooh, 473 haste mastery speed tier. I mean, those are pretty good, even though the stats are kind of... I mean, it's high haste, though. High haste is solid. And then a crit verse ring. Yeah, we're not even going to entertain the ring. The ring is trash. So the question is, like, do I want a normal friendship badge or a heroic leg piece? I think the tier might edge it out. This character I'm obviously going to be doing less on, so chances for tier are a little lower than my main. But the badge is pretty good. Let's just take a look and see how they rate the friendship badge for disc. And if this leg piece is even an ideal tier piece, because some pieces you obviously don't take, so we're just going to take a look at it. They do recommend you take the legs. And then in terms of trinkets, it's an S tier trinket. But this has got speed on it too. Oh, I should have done Myth Track Dungeons. If I had done Myth Track Dungeons, this would be a no-brainer, but I didn't. I'm like kicking myself a little bit for not doing higher ones. I think I'm going to take the tier. I think getting 2-piece, plus this has speed on it. This is only a normal trinket. As sad as it is to say, I think, well, I might be saying this now and I could be wrong. Last season I didn't see a trinket at all, but I will probably see this again. So we're going to go with the legs. And we'll decide which piece we want to use our Curio on. And that'll get us 2-piece for the week. Maybe 3 with KSM, so ideally we could get a 4th from Raid and we'd be done. Now, last one is the Paladin. This is the new main. So I did a bunch of 18s, so we'll have all Myth Track slots for dungeons, and we'll have all Heroic slots for Raid. We did not kill Tindril or Farrak. Just didn't have time to get to them. Smolderon took us longer than expected. But we should have some pretty good options here. Unfortunately, because Holy only has like one, or because Paladin only has one intellect spec, we're going to have to stay heals. I can't game DPS trinkets. I just have to roll Holy and pray that we get the right pieces. So if I saw like a 480 Genosaur Blood, that would be good. A 480 Sea Star would be pretty good. A 480 Tear Stone. Any of those trinkets are really solid. We want those. A 480 weapon, preferably with crit, would be perfect. I'd also take a shield. Really, we just don't want to see bracers. We really don't want to see bracers. We don't want to see a neck. We're going to craft a neck this week, probably. We don't want to see a belt. Tier, I'm kind of indifferent about. I don't have any pieces of tier, but we'll get them in time. Again, it's like less impactful for healers, so let's just go. Let's just fire it away. See what we get. Okay. I see some interesting pieces, but I don't know if they're particularly good. So from Raid, we have the Smoldering Seedling Trinket. As far as I remember, this trinket is terrible, and you don't want it. We do have a Haste Mastery weapon. I think this is our best weapon from the Raid, outside of the Farrak weapon, which I will not get, because it's going to go to DPS first. So this is a pretty good contender. 10 item levels, plus it can be upgraded a bunch. And then Haste Mastery Ring. We don't really want high haste. Haste is not a great stat for Holy Paladin right now. We just too fast. And then in the dungeon track, we have Lady Waycrest Music Box, which I think is one of our worst trinkets for healing. Really wanted the Genosaur Blood. We have a 480 tier helm, which is good. High haste, though. I would be able to catalyze something and get 2-piece. And then we have Haste Mastery Chest, which we would obviously have to catalyze. So I think it's going to be between the Moonblade or the Tear Helm. Again, let me take a look. Maybe these trinkets are crazy good, and I don't know anything about them. I kind of doubt it, though. If I can get this site to load. Okay, so we do take the Tear Helm. I think ideally we want... What is the piece we don't take? Legs. We want the legs from Gnarlroot. So this is an applicable tier piece. The trinket is rated as a B. The raid trinket. The dungeon trinket is a B minus. So the question then is like, do I want a weapon or the helm? Man, a Myth Track helm would be really nice to get. Because then I don't have to worry about getting helms for the rest of the season. I'm going to get a weapon eventually. Like, the weapon is definitely the bigger upgrade right now, but I think long term I am really tempted to take the Myth Track piece. Just to be done with it and say, like, hey, I have a Myth tier piece. I don't need a helm for the rest of the tier. And then eventually I could socket this too, so... I mean, how much of a difference is that? 200 int. This is about 130 int. Yeah. I don't want Catalyst fodder. I have Catalyst fodder. I think we just take the Helm. And it's perfectly fine. Like, these trinkets are nothing amazing, and the weapon is good, but, like, there are better weapons from dungeons. I really don't want a haste weapon if I can avoid it, because the haste is kind of crappy. I think, ideally, I would get the weapon from Dawn, which is crit verse, which is pretty good. So, yeah, I think we're just going to take the Myth Helm, get our tier piece, and we might wait until after normal raid or heroic raid to catalyze something. Oh, didn't go through. Let me take it. Oh, it's just slow. What happens if I click yes again? Do I get a second? Oh, okay. So we got a tier piece. We're cool with that. And then we'll take a look. What does this transmog look like? Oh god, it's the awful looking. I don't like the Paladin helm. It looks stupid, in my opinion. Anyway, let's wrap this up. Affixes this week. Tyrannical, which is going to be a pain in the ass. I think Dawn of the Infinite, both dungeons are going to be harder. Darkheart Thicket's going to be quite a bit harder, I think. Other dungeons should be fine. I mean, Atal is probably still going to be easy. Waycrest is going to be mostly fine. Throne is going to be way easier. And then Entangling Bursting. Bursting's not a huge problem. There's less priests around, so this will be more relevant this week, but Bursting is not going to slow you down that much. You'll still be able to do massive trash pulls, no problem. And Entangling, you just fucking walk out of it. Who cares? So, should be an okay push session for keys this week. Tyrannical might like present a roadblock for some people, but I think overall not too bad. But that is going to be it for me. I'll be streaming on Twitch later this week, twitch.tv/Veronyx, VERONYX. Feel free to come and hang out. I'm looking at getting dual streaming set up, so hopefully we'll be able to do YouTube and Twitch at the same time. So more to come on that. And I hope to catch you next time. Good luck on your vaults. See you next time. Peace.